Hello, everyone. This is Mona Ellis. I am coming back to you with a little bit of information about the return to duty process. I'm not sure how many people are going to be on this chat. It may be one, it may be two, it may be none, but hopefully at some point in time, you'll be able to see this and watch this video because there's some new information out there that I've been told by at least two consortiums. So this is about the return to duty process. So I've went through the SAP program and I've completed step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now I am on step 5 and I do not have an employer. What is it that I can do? Most people want to be able to complete step 5 so that it can show that they're eligible to take a drug test, right? So this video is going to cover that process. And I have on my website some consortiums that are now completing step 5. So it doesn't matter where you are, where you live at. If you are a CDL truck driver and you're going through the SAP process, you may be able to hire a third-party administrator consortium to complete step 5. That is the return to duty drug test. Okay. Now, if you are owner operator with your own DOT number or authority, you can not only hire them to complete step 5, you can also hire them to complete your follow-up testing plan schedule. All right. So this is the information that I'm going to be bringing to you. And I'm going to be reading from an article that I received from one of the consortiums that is currently doing step 5. All right. So it says now CDL drivers can also hire a consortium or third-party administrative service provider to send you for a return to duty drug test. Now, one of the things I want to make sure that you're aware of, they're going to have your paperwork from your SAP provider because some SAPs will have you to do a return to duty drug and alcohol test. So just keep that in mind. You have to have that clarification and not just go and say, I'm just going to take a return to duty drug test. The consortium will charge you additional fees because they're going to, once you pass your drug and alcohol test or drug or alcohol test as recommended by your substance abuse professional, which is your SAP, they're going to give you the test, the DOT test, and they're going to update your FMSCA clearinghouse status to step 5. So in your clearinghouse, you're going to see, I have this paper. So if you look at this paper, I'm hoping that you guys can see. You see at the bottom, which is at the top up here, when you go into your clearinghouse, you're going to be able to see all of the service agents, okay, at the top. And those service agents are driver, SAP, employer, and C/TPA. That C/TPA is the consortium third-party administrator. And they are the individuals that can update your clearinghouse based on the process of wherever you're at. So you will have to give your consortium or your third-party administrator access to your clearinghouse. All right. So they will charge you that administrative fee to go in there and update your clearinghouse. So keep that in mind. You'll not only pay for your drug and alcohol test for return to duty, you will also pay them to go in there and update your clearinghouse to step 5. And then it will show that you are eligible to drive. Okay. So you'll go from red to green. All right. And so I just have to stop and start somewhere in there so I can kind of explain some of the things. And so some of the reasons that you may want to consider once you've completed your SAP recommendations, whether that be education or treatment or rehab, and now you're ready for step 5. They determine your eligibility to take your return to duty drug test, which is step 4, and now you're on step 5. Okay. And so upon successful completion, they will enter your results into the clearinghouse, and that it will reflect that you're eligible to perform safety sensitive duties. At this point, this will allow you to go in and fill out applications to be able to get rehired as a CDL driver or to resume your position with your current employer. And all they will have to do is your follow-up testing plan schedule, which is step 6. So the employers are responsible for completing step 6. There's no way to get around that. That's an employer's responsibility. But the consortium can help you with step 5. All right? Just want to make that clear. Because step 6 is the employer's responsibility and step 5 is employer's responsibilities. But they've allowed this to happen because so many drivers are having a difficult time getting employed. And that's one way to kind of help them to get back on the road. And so one of the top 3 reasons you might want to consider using a consortium to kind of help you out with this process is to be able to regain your professional driving privileges. It lets them know that you're clean and sober, and you can restore your eligibility to operate a commercial vehicle and resume your career in the transportation industry. It ensures your compliance and safety and that you have completed the SAP program. And then you are in compliant with DOT regulations and safety standards, where you can assure the public that you're safe, you're clean, you're sober, and you can perform your safety sensitive duties as a driver. And it increases the probability of being able to go out and get hired. Some companies will not hire people out of the SAP program, but many companies do hire people out of the SAP program. And so don't give up. Keep trying after you've completed this process. Is it expensive? Yes. But guess what else can be expensive? Not having income as a result of a positive drug or alcohol test. So the longer you wait, the less money that you have to be able to do what you love to do and drive, And so that's why it's important that you get back out there as soon as you can. And so it can increase your probability, open the doors to employment, and let the employers know that you are responsible and you have taken this initial step to show that you are serious about your career and that you are ready to start the wheel again and to do things the right way. Some people, they maybe don't consider themselves. They may just go get a CBD product for one of the truck stops because they're in pain or something and not know that the product may have marijuana or something in it. So everybody kind of makes some poor decisions or are not aware or uneducated, and maybe you just needed a little bit of education. So there's many reasons why people are coming through the SAP program. Maybe they did have a problem and they've gotten help and they've been clean and sober for a very long time. And yes, they are ready to get back on the road and get going. They go back after years of having a violation and say, hey, I've gotten my life together. I want to go back into trucking. And they still have to go back through the SAP services or the SAP program. So that's another reason why. And so that's the information that I wanted to provide you with today. And so just remember that many recruiters are out there that's willing to help you get back on the road and get back through the process. You may have to pay them for consultation services, but there are a lot of recruiters. I hear from them all the time. If you're going to go through a recruiter, if you're going to hire a consortium, if they're not in your DOT record, Remember, you will have to provide a consent form. Your SAP will not just give your paperwork to anybody. They're going to want to make sure that the employers are the people that you want to have your information. They're going to want to make sure that the consortiums are the people that you want to have your information. The SAPs may charge you an administrative fee because it's paperwork. It's time that they got to process information and paperwork. So kind of be on the lookout for consultation fees from recruiters and administrative fees for consortiums, administrative fees from SAP, because all of us are service agents and we provide a service and we have to get paid for our services. And so the fees should not be outrageous, but they should be reasonable to be able to get you what you need to get back up and going on the road. And just from a personal experience, I've had drivers that has finished my program in 2020 and 2021 and 2022 and 2023 that have not completed step 6. So this is the second part of what I would like to talk about. What happens when I've been with an employer and they have not sent me for my follow-up testing schedule? Well, that's very interesting because you still have to complete the follow-up testing schedule, which is step 6. And you cannot get around this. It has to be done. I don't care if it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So what has to happen is if you're with that employer, they have to do the follow-up testing schedule. They have to begin that process. Will it may be an audit finding, but it still has to be done. So you would have to have the consortium or the third-party administrator or the employer to reach out to your SAP, and your SAP may charge them an administrative fee because there may be a consultation fee, because now we have to tell them what they need to do, which is I'm going to give them the information right now in this video so you can point them to this live video. They will have to resume your follow-up testing plan schedule. It should be the effective date of when they hired you. If they have missed that date, they just have to pick it up when they realize that it needs to be done and begin the follow-up testing schedule with the consortium or the administrator or within their program if they have it in-house. Many consortiums will say, I need to hear from your SAP that I can begin the follow-up testing schedule because it's way past the dates. So we will just send them an email or either consult with them and let them know, okay, this is what's going to have to happen. We're going to have to resume the date effective to date of today's date so that they can get in compliance and get it done. And it's just about sending a quick email or a quick note over to the consortium telling them to, yes, I need you to go ahead and begin that follow-up testing schedule if it hasn't been done. And that's why we charge those administrative fees, because that takes time, that takes work, and that takes documentation and emails. Okay. So that's the missing piece. If you're going to a new employer and it hasn't been done, the prior employer hasn't sent the paperwork or they won't comply and they've tried to reach out to them and they don't give the paperwork, then you would have to provide us with a consent to release your information to the new employer. And then we will consult with the new employer and we will let the new employer know, okay, you don't have the paperwork showing that they've done any drug tests, any follow-up tests, any return to duty tests, nothing. So they will have to complete that process based on the effective hire date that they have brought you onto their program. Because I have many employers that reach out to me after they've hired the employees, the safety sensitive employees, when technically they should reach out to me before they hire the employees. But it's okay as long as they're reaching out to me as your SAP. I will make sure that they have what they need so they can stay in compliance and continue to provide the service that we need them to do within the public to deliver goods and services. So that's pretty much it. Any other questions? I do have consultation. I do charge for consultation services. For if you call me and you reach out to me, I probably won't talk to you no more than a couple of minutes. And then I'll say, okay, if you need more time, you have to go back, book an appointment, and pay a fee for consultation. All right. I've told many people that. And they're kind of not happy about it, but hey, I'm in business and this is what I do. I have to pay to be a SAP and I have to charge for my services. So if you want more information, or if you just want a quick question or a quick phone call, you can call me. Just make sure you leave a message and I'll call you back by the end of the next business day. Most of the time, it's by the end of the same business day. I will call you back and try to answer any of your questions. And so I hope this explains the return to duty step 5 and 6 procedures. You have to do that follow-up testing schedule. You can't get out of it. And if it hasn't been done, don't panic. It's not the driver's fault. They're not responsible for doing step 6, even though they have to deal with the consequences of step 6 not being done. Just know that it is not your fault and that you can pick up that following test schedule. You can start that testing schedule. The most important thing is that you're able to complete it at some point in time. You cannot have access to your follow-up testing plan schedule. No one can give you that. Do not ask the consortium, third-party administrator. Do not ask the employer. Do not ask the SAP. You can be tested with between 1 and 5 years, depending on the SAP recommendations. You will most likely have 6 unannounced tests within the first 12 months for sure. That includes follow-up testing schedule, random testing schedule, and any other test post-accident, suspicious, whatever test the employer sends you for, you must go take the test. If you do not take the test, you will have a refusal to test. It will be entered into the clearinghouse, and you will have to resume the return to duty process all over again. The refusal to test is considered a positive test, and it will be treated just like a positive test, and you'll have to go through the process, the return to duty process. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6 all over again. So whenever you go for a test, even if they send you and you say, okay, I don't want this job, I'm going to get another job, they pay better, I need you to still go take the test. Okay, the return to duty drug test, pre-employment test, whatever test, so that you won't get hit with a refusal to test. So technically, I tell my drivers and all of the people, pipeline, aviation, railroad, coastal guard, transit authority, everybody, make sure that you always go take a test. If you get a note, if you get a invitation to say, hey, an employer is sending you for a drug test, a DOT drug test, always go take it, because it's going to cause you to have a red flag in the system, and you have to complete the SAP process if you do not go and take the test. All right, that sums it up for Miss Mona today. I hope this is helpful to you guys. Eventually, I'm hoping you guys can see this video and that you can learn something from it and that it's helpful. All right, we're all done. Enjoy your day.